Hello, and welcome to an SWWC video tutorial. My name is Carter Squires, and today I'll be showing you how you can use vibe coding in the classroom using Gemini. So what is vibe coding? Well, vibe coding is a relatively new software development term that essentially means using AI to generate and improve code. Now, the more coding experience you have will generally determine what you can do with vibe coding. However, in this tutorial today, I'll show you how you can make tons of cool classroom content with zero coding experience. So let's look at a live example. We'll assume the role of a 10th grade science teacher that wants to make a game to show on the board for their whole class to play. So, I'm a science teacher, I go to Gemini, and I want to make a cool game that I can show on the board for the class to play. So what do I do? Well, the first thing I'm going to want to do is go to this Tools tab here and select Canvas. What this does is it allows me to preview what the code will look like once it's done generating. Afterwards, I'll want to change this fast to Pro. Now, what Pro does is essentially takes a little bit more time to generate the code, but it's generally better. Now, I've run out of Pro today, but I'll show you what I was able to generate. So, in this example, I said in my prompt that I'm a 10th grade science teacher and would like a fun class activity that tests students' knowledge of the periodic table. Code an HTML site that hosts a periodic table game where the class will attempt to fill in as much of the periodic table as possible. And as you can see, it generated us some instructions for what the game can look like. Now, one important thing I do want to point out is this code an HTML site. What this essentially means is I'm telling it to create a web page for us. Now, this isn't a web page that you can necessarily find on Google, but it gives it the basis that I kind of want this to look like a web page video game, if that makes sense. So we can see that it gives us some instructions on how to play. So I'll read that for 1 second. It looks like I can hit start game, have students type them out as fast as possible, and it looks like we can just start and test it and see if it works. So I'll try to type in hydrogen, and it looks like I can just type in the simple. So we'll try to do helium, we'll do fluoride, oxygen, and it looks like it works very well. Let's try something a little further on. Let's try iron. Looks like it works perfectly. So as you can see, I did kind of do some changing of this a little bit, but let's change it again. I'm going to tell it to change the, we'll say text to be bigger. Because I want this to be projected on a screen. So I want it to be easy to read for the students in the back to make sure that they know what elements have been selected. So we're going to have the text be bigger for them. Now, as you can see on the left, it's telling us exactly what it's going to change. So it's going to increase font sizes across the entire interface. So we're going to get the symbols bigger, the header bigger, the statistics bigger. So we'll let that sit there and generate for a second. All right, and it's generated, and as you can see, the top, the enter symbol is much bigger. I almost want to say that this is a little bit smaller, but you can see how you can kind of prod it to get slight improvements. But I can start just to make sure this still works. So let's try oxygen, and then, yeah, I think that's a little bit bigger. Let's try hydrogen, helium. And yeah, that actually does look a little bit bigger, and I kind of like this time feature on the side here to encourage the students to go as quickly as they can. So now how can we take this code and actually kind of use it and not use the Gemini interface? Well, the easiest way to do that is we're going to want to go to this code setting here. We're going to want to copy all of this code. Now, I've already done the liberty of that, and we're going to want to paste it to a text document. Now, excuse me. This text document is going to be renamed to something. I'll show you what that process looks like, but essentially, let's assume that we've pasted it into this text document here. We're going to go to File, Save As, pick whatever folder we want to pick, pick whatever file name we want to pick, and then we're going to want to put at the end of that file HTML. Then save. Now, what does that do? Well, saying that you want a file ending to be in HTML essentially means that you want it to open as a web page. So when we go to that file later and we try to open it, boom, we have a web page. So to show you that again, we would go to this code, we would copy it, go to our text document, we'd create one, copy in our code, file, save as, go to the file we want, game.html, save, and then boom, we would be able to open that up and play our game. So, as you can see, we can create tons of cool ideas. I've seen periodic table races. I've seen other science experiments where maybe you are teaching a lower level grade, the planet order. There's tons of cool games and ideas you can do with vibe coding. You're really only limited by your imagination. But this is just one example on how you can use it to create a ton of cool tools in games.